Welcome to Blue Talks.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited to be here with you today at the University of Alberta. And I have a little story that I want to share with you that I think you're going to find very empowering and encouraging. Let's talk today about hummingbirds and hangovers. Now I know that seems like a really odd combination, but trust me, it will all make sense when I'm done. It all started in Mexico. Now, I bet you're thinking that this is the hangover part of the story, but it's not. I was staying with my friend Lizzie at her beautiful Mexican casa. I was lounging by the pool, relaxing, and suddenly I hear her yelling from somewhere in the house. So I go running inside and I find her in her kitchen. And she's pointing up to the big high dome that's in the ceiling of her kitchen. There's a hummingbird up there. Now, this little bird had come in through the front doors that are left open for most of the day, and it was now trapped, trying to escape. It's flying against the windows in this dome, bashing itself against the windows, chirping and calling, and then it would just get so exhausted, and it would just sit on the window ledge and pant. We wanted so badly to be able to help it, but we couldn't reach it. Even with me standing on her dining room table with the longest tool that we could find, a 10-foot pool skimmer, I was only able to temporarily get it to perch on that, and I almost got it out the door to safety, and it flew right back up into that dome again. And right back to bashing itself against the glass, unaware that help was right there, ready and willing. It was so painful to watch the anxiety and the agony of its struggle. But we had no choice except to wait. Hours passed, and we eventually found it alive in the empty kitchen sink. And this little bird was just laying there with its wings out and its feathers all scruffy, and it's panting, and it's weakly chirping, and its eyes are closed. And at that point, I was able to scoop it up into my hands and carry it to a safe spot outside. And it gradually revived after having a few sips of sugar water. And as the sugar started to work its magic, that little bird opened its eyes and picked itself up and pulled in its wings and started chirping more loudly and more strongly. And it's about that moment that I hear a loud whirring sound, and I realize that another hummingbird has joined us, and it's flying frantically and sporadically around. And it obviously seems to be connected to this little bird that had been calling. Now, we weren't sure if this was a parent or a partner, but they seemed to be relieved and concerned. And it wasn't long before this parent or partner was able to coax the little bird up into a tree nearby and perched on the branch beside it. And this little bird barely resembled the scruffy little orphan that we had just rescued from the kitchen sink. And I'm confident that it survived. Now, on a plane back to Calgary within hours of this incident, I'm thinking about this whole experience. And that's when it hit me. How closely this story resembles a topic that has a very negative stigma attached to it, one that I am working very hard to disrupt and create change around. And that's domestic abuse, domestic violence. Can you see the parallels here too? Have you been that hummingbird? Do you know someone who has been or maybe still is? Trapped, afraid, frightened, unaware there's help nearby, wanting to escape, not sure how. How has it felt to be that hummingbird, trapped and afraid, or that witness looking on helplessly. I invite you to just join me for a moment and close your eyes and just feel that. Okay, thank you for doing that with me. That was really heavy. Let's take a deep breath, let it out, drop your shoulders, and we're going to switch gears. Has anyone here ever experienced a hangover? Don't be shy, I'm sure you're in very good company. There are many types of hangovers. There's the kind that first comes to mind of overindulging in certain beverages. Jet lag is a kind of hangover, eating too much turkey dinner. I've had a groggy hangover from napping too long. But has anyone ever heard of a vulnerability hangover? Now, it's that awkwardness and distancing that can follow a really deep heart-to-heart conversation sometimes. You've shared something very deep and personal, and now you feel exposed and vulnerable. Now, if you've ever experienced this, you know how uncomfortable it is, how embarrassing, how disorienting and confusing it might be. And you will find that you maybe even want to avoid that person now or avoid having a conversation with them. That's what it feels like to be suffering from a vulnerability hangover. So, what's the cure? It can depend on your relationship with the person. Now, it's sometimes easier to share with a stranger who is less invested, more neutral, and has no history with the other characters in the story. And there's also less risk that a stranger is going to intentionally or unintentionally share this story with someone that you both know. Now, if it's somebody that you do know, there's also concerns about confidentiality. And there's also concerns about how this may affect your future relationship with each other. So my suggestion is to, number one, address this directly, and number two, give them space. So you could say, hey, since our conversation, you might be feeling a little uncomfortable, you might be concerned about confidentiality, but I want to thank you for trusting me. I want you to know that I believe you and that what you shared is safe with me. If you ever want to talk again, I'm here. And if you need help, then together, we're going to find the right resources to help you. Think of that hummingbird. I witnessed it at its worst moment, and yet it recovered with resilience when it allowed my help. Its family was relieved, accepting, and supportive. But we had to wait until it was ready and willing to allow and accept our help. Now, it can be very difficult to be in a situation where you want to help someone and they're not ready. They may have reached out, but now they're suffering from a vulnerability hangover. Or they haven't reached out and you feel helpless. Don't be afraid to reach in. Don't wait for them to reach out. Now, you may be feeling unsure or unprepared. You're not really knowing what you could offer if they are ready. You may also be worried about insulting them or being rejected. You may also be concerned about your own safety. Those are all very legitimate concerns. But we can be prepared, and when we're prepared, we're more effective. There are courses available online to help you with exactly these type of hard conversations. You can have a list of resources, shelters, and supports that are available. And then wait until they're ready. Be ready to help them. You can make a difference. There is hope. Sometimes you will sense that someone needs your help. They may reach out, you may reach in. think of this hummingbirds and hangovers story. You may have to wait until they're ready. You may have to witness a vulnerability hangover. You may have to watch them return to something painful, but be ready when they are. There is hope. That is something we are all capable of offering, is hope. Hope is something for them to hang on to. I challenge you to get curious, to reach in, and to help people. I challenge you to use the power you have to disrupt these negative stigmas and to create positive change. Let's do this together. Thank you.